Food should bring joy, not sadness. Beware, for there is magic that weighs heavy on the heart. You must stop before the spirits come for you. Once upon a time, in a small village called Nsoya, there lived a woman named Uju. Uju was known all over the village for her delicious food. People came from far and wide just to taste her dishes. She made tasty jollof rice, spicy pepper soup, and sweet plantains. Everyone who ate her food would smile with joy. But there was something strange about Uju's cooking. It was not just the flavor that made her food special. Uju had a secret, a big secret. She used juju, a kind of magic, in her cooking. This magic made people want to fight each other for her food. The village of Nsoya was a peaceful place, but Uju's food changed that. People would argue, shout, and even push each other just to get a plate of her meals. "Give me that food," one would shout. "No, I want it," another would yell. They were ready to do anything for a taste of her dishes. Uju knew that her juju was strong. Every time someone ate her food, she felt a surge of power. It was like a warm light filling her body. The more people fought for her food, the stronger she became. She smiled when she saw the villagers quarreling. Their anger gave her strength. But as Uju grew stronger, a dark shadow loomed over the village. Once a month, someone would die in Nsoya. It was a sad time for the villagers, and they did not know why it was happening. They mourned and cried, wondering who would be the next to go. Uju kept her secret close. She knew that the deaths were linked to her power. For every person who ate her food, she became stronger, but it came with a price. A life was taken from the village each month, and Uju was at the center of it all. One day, Uju decided to hold a big feast for the village. She wanted to show off her skills and make even more people come to her. She prepared a huge pot of her famous jollof rice, added spicy chicken, and made sweet plantains. The aroma filled the air, and soon the villagers could smell it. News spread quickly. The villagers gathered in front of Uju's house, eager to taste her food. They pushed and shoved, each person wanting to be the first in line. Uju laughed quietly to herself. "Let them fight," she thought. "I will grow even stronger." As the feast started, everyone was excited. Uju served the food, and the villagers filled their plates. They ate and ate until they could eat no more. Laughter and shouts filled the air, but soon, the laughter turned to anger. "You took my food," one man yelled at another. A fight broke out, and Uju watched with joy. But that night, as the moon shone bright, the village faced another death. A young man named Kofi was found lying lifeless outside his home. The villagers were heartbroken. They could not understand why these sad things were happening after such a joyful feast. As Kofi's funeral took place, the village was filled with sorrow. Uju stood to the side, feeling a mix of emotions, sadness for the boy and strength from his death. She knew she had to keep her secret safe. If the villagers found out, they would never eat her food again. The thought scared her. The village elders decided to search for the reason behind these deaths. They spoke to the old women, the wise men, and gathered stories. Many whispers filled the air. "Maybe it is the juju in Uju's food," someone murmured. "She put something in the food," another said. Uju heard the rumors. Fear gripped her heart. What if they found out the truth? What if they turned against her? She had to act fast. She decided to spread a new rumor to distract them. "Have you heard about the spirits in the forest?" she asked one villager. "They say they take people's lives." The villagers began to focus on the forest, believing that the spirits were to blame. Meanwhile, Uju continued to cook, feeling stronger each time someone fell for her food. One day, an old woman named Mama Neka came to the village. She was a wise healer known for her knowledge of juju. People respected her, and they listened to her. Mama Neka heard about Uju's food and the deaths in the village. She was worried and decided to seek out Uju. Mama Neka visited Uju's home. "My child," she said, "I have heard stories of your food. People say it is magical, but there are dark clouds hanging over the village." Uju's heart raced. What if Mama Neka found out everything? No, Mama Neka," Uju replied. "It is just good food. I do not know about any dark clouds." She smiled sweetly, hiding her fear. Mama Neka narrowed her eyes. "Food should bring joy, not sadness. Beware, for there is magic that weighs heavy on the heart. You must stop before the spirits come for you." Uju felt a chill run down her spine. The villagers were already offering sacrifices to ward off the spirits. She knew she had to do something to protect herself. Uju planned another feast to celebrate the harvest. She wanted to keep the villagers from thinking too much about the deaths. She increased the juju in her food, knowing that she needed to be stronger. As the village prepared for the feast, Uju could feel the excitement in the air. On the day of the feast, the villagers arrived with joy. They danced and sang, grateful for the food Uju prepared. But as soon as they began to eat, the fighting started again. "You are taking my food." "No, you are eating too fast." Voices were raised, and soon, fists were flying. Uju smiled as she watched the chaos unfold. She felt herself growing stronger. But as the moon rose high that night, the village faced another loss. An old woman who had cared for the villagers, Mama Eda, was found dead in her home. The villagers were confused and scared. Why did more people have to die? The village was now divided. Some believed Uju was the cause of their troubles. Others still loved her food and wanted to eat it, no matter what. The elders gathered to make a decision. "We must confront Uju," they said. "She must tell us what is happening." But Uju had other plans. She decided to use more juju, mixing it with her food to keep people eating and fighting. She thought, if they want my food, they will never think of me as the curse. The villagers came to her with hungry stomachs and angry hearts. Uju watched them ready to fight again, but this time her heart was filled with worry. What if someone found out? What if she got caught? As the days went by, more people fell ill. Something was wrong. Uju could feel that her strength was fading. The juju was becoming too much. She could sense the spirits dancing around her, whispering secrets she did not understand. One rainy afternoon, a young girl named Chika came to Uju. She was curious and brave. Unlike others, Chika had observed Uju closely. She was not afraid of her. "Why do you make people fight for your food?" Chika is the source of their suffering, while others argued wholeheartedly that her food was too delicious to resist. Many were torn between their faith in Uju's cooking and the growing fear of the mysterious deaths. Uju, meanwhile, reveled in her increasing power, unaware of the whispers turning into shouts. One evening, as the sun dipped below the trees, the villagers held a meeting. Heartbroken over the losses, they gathered in the village square to discuss Uju's food and the chain of tragedies stemming from her feast. Elder Ifosa stood at the forefront, his voice shaking with emotion. "We must protect our village. How many more lives will be lost?" Uju watched from the edge of the crowd, her heart racing. She felt cornered. If only Kofi, Ada, and the others never ate her food, they would still be alive. The guilt washed over her like a cold tide, yet a part of her whispered that she was not to blame. It was the villagers who fought for her dishes. Amidst the fervor, Mama Neka returned to Nsoya. She came bearing warnings of impending doom. Your hearts are divided, and so is your fate. Uju's food calls forth anger and sorrow, and the juju within it is dark. You must confront her before more lives are claimed. Uju's heart sank. She approached Mama Neka, a cautious smile plastered on her face. But Mama, people love my food. They come to me in joy. Joy nurtured by darkness is no true joy at all, Mama Neka replied sternly. You must seek out a way to break the juju's hold before it consumes not just your villagers, but you as well. Uju returned home, feeling the weight of Mama Neka's words. That night, she sat in her kitchen, surrounded by her bubbling pots and fragrant spices. As she stirred the rice, a realization dawned upon her. The juju didn't just feed her power, it corrupted the very essence of her cooking. She wanted to bring people together, not tear them apart. Determined to change, Uju decided to invite the villagers to her home for a new kind of feast, a feast without juju. The next morning, she sent out messages, beckoning everyone to join her, with the promise of the most wholesome meal yet. On the day of the feast, the villagers arrived cautiously, their faces a mix of curiosity and skepticism. They were hesitant to trust Uju again. But as they entered her home, they were greeted by the warm aroma of a different kind of jollof rice, prepared without juju, just love and care. As they ate together, the passion of her cooking shone through. The laughter returned, not forced by anger, but genuine joy. There were no fights or shouting, instead, stories were shared, and bonds were strengthened. Uju saw smiles on faces that had once been twisted in envy. Feeling lighter, a gentle warmth enveloping her, Uju stood up. Dear friends, I have decided to rid my food of juju. I want our village to thrive in happiness, not discord. From this day forth, let us celebrate together. Elder Ifosa slowly approached, tears in his eyes. You have a gift, Uju, and it is better with kindness than with power. Thank you for helping us find our way back. As the night wore on, something extraordinary happened. The next morning, the villagers awoke to an unusual stillness. No cries of anguish pierced the dawn, instead, the sun rose on a renewed Nsoya. They felt the loss of their loved ones deeply, but together, they began to heal. Mama Neka watched from a distance, her heart swelling with pride as she observed the villagers coming together. Uju's choice to embrace a more compassionate path not only freed her from the burden of juju but reignited a sense of community that had long been lost. With time, the village of Nsoya became stronger, a symbol of resilience and unity. Uju's food transformed from a means of conflict into a catalyst for joy, bringing life and laughter back to the villagers. They celebrated their successes, healed their hearts, and honored the memories of those they had lost. Though the shadow of the past lingered, it was now filled with lessons learned and friendships forged tighter than ever. Uju discovered that true magic lay not in the juju she wielded, but in the hearts she nourished. As life in Nsoya flourished, Uju smiled with newfound wisdom, knowing that while food could bring people together, it was love, empathy, and understanding that truly fed the soul. The villagers gathered around her often, feasting not just on delicious meals, but on stories, laughter, and the warmth of community, a testament to the healing power of unity. And so, the tale of Uju and the secret of the juju food became legend, a reminder that true strength lies within the bonds we cultivate with each other, not in the power we hold alone.